Hello, welcome to another ghost story that will make you have nightmares for eternity. And make sure you are prepared for this story. This story is by Nina Terribly from a Facebook group called Paranormal Odds. I'll leave a link down in the description. And I'd like to thank you for letting me tell your story today. If you got a story you want us to tell, then send us an email at, or you can send me a message on social media, as I will leave the links down in the description for you to check out. Before you get into the video, make sure to hit the subscribe button as we're on the way to 50 subscribers, and join the spooky gang. And make sure to leave this video a like, so I know you like content like this. Also, share this video with your friends, your cat, your dog, your neighbour, whatever. And let's get into it. Before we get into the video, I want to ask two questions. The first question is, what would you like us to do to interact more within the video? Would you like us to do shout outs, or comment below your ideas? Question number two, what would you like us to do when we hit 50 subscribers? The house I grew up in was haunted. My father, in the late 60s or early 70s, saw an apparition, and other weird things would happen. It was my grandparents' home, and my father, brother, and I moved in when my mum decided she wanted a divorce. Little things would happen here and there, like the feeling of being watched, walking around in my room, and seeing shadow figures. One night, I remember waking up,
terrified.
I looked around the room, and sitting in a chair was this hideous, decaying-looking woman. Her eyes were pure white, and her hair was a fiery red. She motioned me to come to her. I remember her having long fingernails, and when she motioned me to come to her, it was like a weird movement. Like the only way I can describe it, it was like how actors would move in on old picture films. The air was thick. The last thing I recall was my head hitting the pillow. I woke up the next day, just thinking about it. I told my cousin, who was religious, and she said a prayer outside in front of the house. I got sick afterwards, and believe it was validation from this thing. I couldn't swallow, so I refused to eat. My grandma noticed I was getting thinner and not eating. She prayed and sprinkled holy water on me. I was able to eat. Fast forward, when I was 15 years old, I started to get involved with witchcraft and occult stuff. I was always into the paranormal. I had many books that had spells in it, and one book had a summoning spell. My dad also bought me a spirit board. It was a big no-no in the house, and my grandparents were really religious. I thought it was a great idea to try it out in the house. I used it, but nothing happened, so I continued to practice spells. At that time, my cousin would come over and play it too. Well, a couple of nights later, something woke me up, with a growling in my ear. I couldn't move, but I could feel its presence there. This happened every night at the same time. I did get the courage to open my eyes once, and standing by my bed, a black hooded shadow figure was there, just watching me. After a while, I decided to move across the street. My auntie and cousin lived across the street from us. I thought it would go away and stop. No, it followed me there. The same thing would happen. Something would growl in my ear to wake me up, and I couldn't move. I eventually decided to sleep on the floor in my auntie's room for a couple of nights. Well, directly across from her room was the room that was my bedroom when I lived there. I felt something was watching me the whole time, and I know it was at me. One night when I slept in my room, at my auntie's house, I was woken up. I was not able to move, and when I opened my eyes, it was glowing with slit-like cat eyes. I started to babysit during the week for my auntie, who lived in a town right next to us. I started sleep through Monday to Friday. I was happy to stay someplace out, still thinking it was not going to follow me, but it did. The first night when I tried to fall asleep in the guest bedroom, there was a light above the bed that you had to touch, and it would dim on the first touch. The second touch be bright, and the third touch would turn the light off. Well, when I was laying in bed, the light started to act nuts and went on, off, on, off, on, off. I noticed the air got thicker, so I ran out of the room, but when I closed the door behind me, I had to park all quietly in the hallway because I didn't want to wake my little cousin up. When I passed his room, I heard whispering coming from it. I assumed it was my cousin talking to himself. So I tried to listen to what he was saying, but I couldn't understand it. I fell asleep in the living room, and in the morning I told my auntie I think my cousin was up, and she told me he wasn't in his room last night, but was sleeping with her and my uncle the whole night. I realised that this thing was going to follow me everywhere I go, so I decided to move back to my grandparents' home when I wasn't working. One night over there, I was woken up with the growling and not being able to move. My foot was sticking out of the cover. It was the summertime. Something with sharp nails touched my foot. Another night, I slept downstairs because it was the coolest area in my room. I was woken up because I heard footsteps running down the stairs. I thought it was my father, but realised my father and brother went to a camping trip for the weekend. Not being able to move, standing in the doorway was this half-man, half-goat creature. It kept on disappearing and reappearing until it got next to the sofa. It told me to go upstairs and that my grandmother wanted me. I ran upstairs and went to where my grandma was, and she was sleeping. A few days later, my grandmother told me she was having these reoccurring dreams about me signing a book with the devil. The activity started to get worse. I would take naps during the day to catch up on sleep, because I was not sleeping at night. Well, the thing would appear during the day. I was taking a nap, and I opened my eyes because I felt a presence. And standing by my bed was a thing, pretending to be my grandfather. Its eyes was full of hate, and it was very animalistic, the way it was standing, not human-like. One Saturday, my other cousin was sleeping over, and I told her about this summoning book, and we did one of the spells. Well, something turned off the fan, and we heard walking around in the room, where I had to plug back the fan. It sounded like something with hooves. Eventually, this thing started to wake me up and talk to me. It told me it was going to my family, and then me. That was the last straw, and I decided to get rid of the board and the book. I threw it in the garbage. That night, I was woken with the thing telling me it was going to come back. I got older, I got married, and moved out. Periodically, I would have dreams about the half-man and half-goat. Some of the dreams were disgusting. Few layers, we brought a 2-bedroom condo, and things were peaceful. When I became 30, I got pregnant with my first child, second trimester. I would sometimes sleep downstairs on the sofa because my back would hurt. That night, I was woken up, and I couldn't move. I could hear something jumping onto the banister and jumping on the couch where I was sleeping. It touched my stomach. I woke up scared, thinking it hurt the baby, but my baby was okay. When my son was born, he was sleeping in his bassinet by my bed. One night, I was laying in bed, watching TV, and my son was in his bassinet. I noticed my TV was blacking out. I looked up and saw ZZ on his head, and was growling at something in his room. He looked like he was scared and seeing something. Things here and there would happen, but nothing like what happened when I was 15. I do believe the thing is being dormant. Whoa, that is one of the scariest stories I have ever done, and I hope it scared you too. Don't forget to hit subscribe button for more cool stories like these, or reactions, or other stuff that you might want to see. Also, we're on the way to 50 subscribers, so come and join the Spooky Gang for more cool content like this. And also make sure to leave a like so I know you enjoy videos like these. And if you got any stories, or you want me to react to your pictures or videos you want to send, then email me at, or send them on my social media. I will see you guys in the next video, and I hope you don't play with the devil, otherwise you might have a fatal end. Good night.